Welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Cent.
I'm Sil.
And today we're talking about Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 5, I think. And we're talking briefly to you guys about Kirsten and Shaq and what is going on with this dynamic with this couple, because I really want to like them. And I see the challenge. Last time that we talked about them, I think we touched a little bit on whether or not Kirsten needed to tell him that she was attracted or not attracted to him, and how much of an impact, I guess, her having said that has on him. I want it to be less. I do understand that egos are fragile all the way around. Male egos, female egos. They're fragile, and it is hard to deliver, you know, certain types of information to people who don't know you and want to be accepted by you. You know, I think it can be hurtful, but I think it's necessary when one person is looking to move forward and the other person isn't there yet. So it's just a very uncomfortable situation to be in. And I think what we are seeing in this episode, and you and I talked a little bit about this, is the manifestation of his hurt feelings. You know, we saw a little bit of that when they sat down to dinner with one another, I think last week. And he was kind of talking to her like she was one of his mentees, and, you know, seeing how that was kind of a negative experience for her. Yeah. But we're seeing more of that even when the two of them stand together and talk about the way that the girl talk versus guy talk went, especially in terms of like Clint and Gina really having that breakdown of talking about what one another wasn't attracted to about the other. So he took that, I think, as a springboard into him being able to say, like, oh, here's something else you don't like about me. Dominique had obviously talked to Kirsten about, or the whole group of girls, about McKinley, right? Yes. McKinley being too goofy, like joking all the time. And Kirsten used that as well to say, you know, sometimes Shaq jokes all the time. And so he's taking it real personal. He's like, well, what do you like about me? But he gets, in my opinion, a little bit disrespectful in this conversation because he's cutting her off. He's repeating himself. He's not really allowing her to answer, you know, or just continue to talk like she was talking. Because I don't know what he was expecting to get, you know.
Yeah, he felt a certain type of way.
He did.
And he was already, like we said from last week, he was already kind of rocking and reeling. She gave him the equivalent of a 1-2 punch. He was on the ropes already, you know.
And I feel like she's so kind with it, though. You know,
she was sweet, but it still hurt. Sweet things can hurt too.
Yeah.
And obviously it sent him reeling, and he didn't know. We saw him struggle by the end of the episode last week when they had their dinner and whatever. And he's trying to talk, and he's talking at her, and it just threw him off. And of course, he's feeling a certain type of way. He's feeling insecure. And so when she brings to him about this whole goofy thing and him joking too much, that was a bridge too far for him. He was just like,
and no. Even in his confessional, you know, he was kind of snippy about it. Like, I'm not going to change who I am. And, you know, I think that's just because, like you and I talked about a little bit, like he doesn't want to feel like he's jumped through all these hoops and changed everything about himself only to then still not be accepted by her. So I think he feels like he's putting in more effort. I know we saw one of the after parties him saying that she's kind of like two different people, one in front of the camera and one not. That's hard to tell because, like, for instance, when we saw them dance together, it seemed like their vibe was great. Yeah. And when they talked about it, he seemed to speak well of it as well. So it wasn't like, you know, he had some underlying that wasn't what it really was type of thing. It seemed like they both enjoyed themselves dancing. Mm-hmm. And she had nothing but compliments to say about, you know, them experiencing a dance together. So I think he's just slowly growing on her, and he doesn't have the patience for the way that that's going, and he doesn't have any more. He doesn't have the wherewithal to take any more what he perceives as insults to his either appearance or his personality or anything. But what I want to say about that is, when they showed the clip of what he said to her, it offended me. So I understand. He was joking, if you all remember, about her not being able to carry some bags or some luggage in the airport. You know, oh, you were struggling, ha, ha, ha. And I was going to start recording you. And as my husband and I were watching that, I'm like, pause that. Pause it. Because we need to talk about this. Because I don't feel like she was just being overly critical. I feel like that was an unacceptable thing to joke about. Yeah. Joking is okay. It is time and place. But I feel like certain things, people should know, this isn't really funny. You know, I feel like she handled it well because it's not like she snapped about it in the moment. Yeah. Like, I feel like I might have, because I have this thing where I feel like if I'm struggling with something physical and my man is there, why would you not help me? And furthermore, if you weren't helping me, why would it be funny? And why would it be something that you would even think of recording? Yeah. That's weird to me. That's not a masculine trait, in my opinion. And I would be off-put by that quite a bit. Yeah. So I can't be mad at her for bringing that up.
I have no defense on that one. And you're absolutely right. I think from a man to woman perspective, you see your woman struggling with something, your initial thing should be one of chivalry. You want to help. Absolutely. You want to help. You want to help. You want to take something off of her and not see her struggle. And so I wasn't there for that. I think sometimes, I don't know what it is with that, but he's not that young, though. I'm about to say maybe with a young guy, he can't, he's thinking like he's hanging out with his boys or something like that. And how you deal with your boys, and you cracking jokes on one another, you ribbing one another. Yeah. And you see you struggle. I'm going to pull out my phone. I'm going to put this on Facebook so everybody can see you struggle. That's something you do with your friends, your dudes. But not with your lady, not with your woman, especially not with your wife.
Really weird. No. And I get it if you have like a dynamic that like jabs back and forth. Yeah. I'm a jokey person. I'm a sarcastic person. I got jokes. My husband will tell you. I always got a joke. I'm always talking some mess. I do. Yes. I do. And he can do it too. He doesn't do it as much as I do it to him because he's nice. But it's how I was raised. But anyway, I could have even tolerated, and I told you this, if it was same scenario and I'm struggling with my bag in the airport, if he took it from me and joked then, if you took it and was like, yeah, I thought you was about to collapse on the floor, I thought you were stronger than that. You can joke like that. But don't just sit there and let me struggle and talk about recording me. I'm going to be ready to drop these bags and fight. So I got it. I got it from Kirsten. I thought, you know, it was good. Like I said, that she didn't snap on him. And I also like how she handled the conversation as he was really cutting her off and not letting her try to finish what she was saying, because she didn't walk off. She could have kind of snapped. She could have like escalated her tone, and she didn't. She remained calm, and she said what she meant and meant what she said. She said, remember I asked you if you could take criticism, and now it seems like you can't. There wasn't anything wrong with her saying that, no. I don't think, because he wasn't taking the criticism very well. Now, what he may feel is that he doesn't critique her. I think a lot of times when somebody is on the defensive, they feel a little rejected. They're not in a position of power to where they feel like I have room to critique you as well.
Yeah.
So he probably hasn't been, back and forth saying, well, I like this and that about you, but I don't like this. Why do you do this? Or, questioning her. So he just feels like it's all on him. Everything that comes as negative is something that he's doing that she doesn't like. So that makes him a little bit more defensive and kind of lash out in these conversations. But I thought it was a miracle the way that conversation came back together at the end. I don't know what we missed in between, if the producers came out and intervened, but it seemed like it was on its way to going very poorly.
It really did. But from what I can see, it was Kirsten. Kirsten. They kind of like pull the things back. And I would say, I tip my hat to her because she did kind of like keep her cool with him as he was cutting her off, and he was being a little bit snippy, with her.
He was,
even though he's in his feelings, and that was my thing. I saw the dynamic of him being in his feelings, but yet she stayed pretty rational, and she kind of led them, to that embrace at the end.
Yeah,
it could be the edit. It really, really could. But I can only testify on what I saw. And what I saw was her being rational. I saw him being emotional. And I understand why he was emotional. But at the end, I saw her leadership leading them to the embrace and keeping things above level, not letting it get too far. Because, she even said, hey, I don't want to talk in circles, know. And so it was all of that. And I got to tip my hat, to her. But from a man's standpoint, what I will say for Shaq, no man wants to be out there looking like no fool. We don't want to get played. We don't want to look like a sucker. Yeah. And so all of those things, I'm sure, kind of like weighing on him because he's a very articulate guy. He's a very intelligent guy. And so, but the emotional thing, he's on national TV, like you just said. He doesn't want to get played and look like a sucker. And so,
I understand that, but I feel like the more he gets in his emotions and reacts out of emotion, instead of speaking rationally, he's going to look sillier. Because we're going to be like, oh, he got his feelings hurt. You know what I mean? So people are going to read that as opposed to if he says, excuse me, to her, listen, he started off, but he was already high emotion when he said, like, I don't know if I'm doing right or if I'm doing wrong. He was already kind of amped up. So those emotions were already flowing. Yeah. Rather than him speaking to her calm and rationally. Yeah. He could have delivered the same type of message as he was saying there and sounded a whole lot more composed by saying, I don't know if you're attracted to me at this point or not. I know what you said before. I want to make this situation work, but I need to know that we're both headed in the same direction. Yeah. I felt good about us dancing together. I don't know how you felt about that, but just being calm, not cutting her off because it was going to accomplish nothing. What do you like about me? What do you like about me? What do you like about me? That wasn't going to get you anywhere, but to make him look sillier. Yeah. In my opinion, on TV, he made himself look worse that way. And like you said, to have her have to be the one to reel him in, he doesn't look better. No. No. So, I think he just has to find his confidence, stand on that, and understand if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Try to pace yourself time-wise. Wait for the experts to talk to you. And, see where you go from there. Because it may not work. She may never fully be attracted to you enough for you all to pursue this thing. But you can't make her.
True. You can't make anybody do anything. And I agree. He's going to have to find his confidence and get back in there and begin to build a foundation for their marriage.
Yeah.
And that's the only way it's going to survive. And so I know you are kind of high on them a little bit. Me, no. I have no power. I have no couple. I have nothing this season.
I want them to be good. I want them to be good really bad. Because I think they have the potential. I think they're, compatible potentially.
They on paper they look like
I think that they can be. And I think that were it not for his confidence being shaken, I think he would seem more level-headed. I think generally speaking, in his day-to-day life, he's a level-headed person. I think this just threw him off. So he wasn't prepared to deal with the level of rejection that he's feeling.
Yeah.
So if he can get, like you said, get his confidence back up, feel back, on even footing, I think they could still be good.
Yeah. That's the dangers of when you tell someone you're not into them so early into this process. It's just... It's going to
either happen like that, I think, or it's going to crash and burn. Yeah. Because if I sit here and I have you feeling like I'm fully into you, like you're fully into me, but I'm not, it's going to break down at some point. You're either going to try to kiss me and I'm going to be like, oh, or going to try to do something more than that and I'm going to be like, no, and shut it down, and you're going to feel rejected at some point down that pipeline. Yeah. So I think her heading it off at the pass was her way of kind of protecting everybody. I think she was trying to. I don't think she was trying to be rude. Yeah. I think she was honestly trying to be as transparent as she could, as gently as she could. But that's a hard message to deliver. So
she delivered it as best as I've seen anybody on the show deliver it.
Pretty much.
But hurt feelings are hurt feelings all the way around. It is what it is.
Yeah. So let us know what you think about them, guys. Let us know what you think about Shaq being in his feelings. Is he fully justified? Would you react that way? I think he might have went over the top just a little bit, but I was glad to see them not leave this episode on a low note.
Yeah.
So let us know your comments. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.